Hi everybody and welcome to Rocco Baby Crochet. Hope you're all well and having a great week. Today's a quick stitch tutorial and we're going to be learning the beautiful Primrose Stitch. This is the swatch I've made up for the tutorial and as you can see, it looks the same on both sides. I've also got this sample of the stitch which is using the Cygnet Boho Spirit. I'll leave the specific colours and brands of yarn that I've used in this tutorial in the description of the video for you. So this is going to be a scarf. Going to be doing a scarf, a hat and some gloves. So if you don't want to miss out on that free pattern which will be released later on in the year, don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell notification. I aim to release at least 2 tutorials every week, 1 tutorial every month being a free pattern for you. There'll also be written instructions for all my tutorials over on my blog if you prefer written instructions. For this tutorial, all that you'll need is your chosen yarn and the recommended hook for that yarn. So grab your yarn, grab your hooks, grab a cuppa and let's learn this stitch together. To begin working the Primrose Stitch, you're going to want to make a slip knot in your preferred method and pop that onto your hook. And the foundation chain for this stitch needs to be a multiple of 3 and then add 2 on for a turning chain. So you'll want to make your project as wide as you want it to be in a multiple of 3 and then add 2 onto the end. I'm just going to work up a little sample here, so I'm going to chain 20, my multiple of 3 being 18 and then my 2 additional chains for a turning chain. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through until I've got my 20 chains. If you want to press pause and come back to me when you've got your foundation chain to the width that you want it to be at, and we'll move up to row 1 together. I'm ready to move up to row 1 now and hopefully you are too. To start row 1, we want to work in the 3rd chain from the hook. Remember that this on our hook doesn't count as anything. We're counting back the V's, 1, 2, and it's into this 3rd one here that we're going to place our first stitch. Now it's completely up to you if you work from the front of your chain, if you feel more comfortable doing that. I prefer to turn my chain over and count down these bumps on the back, so I'm going to start in my 3rd bump, which is my 3rd chain, every bump being a chain. Into this 3rd chain along, we're going to place a double crochet. Please don't forget that I use UK terminology, so I'll pop the US terms on the screen for my American friends out there. So what we're going to do is insert our hook into the 3rd chain from our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both loops, and that's a double crochet. Next you want to chain 2, so yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through, and then we're going to work back into that same chain and place another double crochet. Next we want to skip 2 chains, so I'm skipping 1, 2 and into the next one I'm going to place that cluster again like a picot stitch. So you're going to insert your hook into that 3rd one along, place a double crochet, chain 2 and then work back into that same chain and place a 2nd double crochet. We'll repeat this all the way across for row 1, so we're skipping the next 2 chains and into the 3rd, place a double crochet, chain 2 and then go back into that chain and place your 2nd double crochet. So skip 2 and into the 3rd, place a double crochet, chain 2 and back into that same chain and place a 2nd double crochet. So if you'd like to press pause while you make your way across row 1, come back to me when you're ready to finish the row off. We'll finish it together and move up to row 2. So I'm just placing my last double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. And what you should have is 2 chains left. So we're going to skip this 1 chain and into our very last chain along, we're going to place a half treble crochet. So you'll yarn over, insert your hook into that last chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So at the end of row 1 you should be looking a little bit like this. To move up to row 2 we're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3 and turn your work. What we want to do now is we're going to work 3 treble crochets into our chain 2 space, which is here. So we're skipping these 2 double crochets and we're working into our first chain 2 space, and we're going to place 3 treble crochets into there. So you'll yarn over, insert your hook into your chain 2 space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now this chain 3 that we've made does count as our first stitch, so if you're newer to crochet, it might be an idea to pop a stitch marker in the top of that chain just so it's easy for you to identify as we move up the rows. You're then going to yarn over, go back into that chain 2 space and place a second treble crochet, and one last time yarn over, back into that chain 2 space and place a third treble crochet. We're going to repeat this sequence all the way across, so we're going to skip these 2 double crochets here in row 1 and we're going to work into our next chain 2 space, and again we're going to place 3 treble crochets into that chain 2 space that we've got from row 1. So there's my second, and there's my third. Skip the next 2 double crochets and work 3 treble crochets into your chain 2 space from row 1. And we'll repeat this all the way across. I've just realised that my nails are very colour coordinated today, and I'd like to say that was planned, but it wasn't. I just fancied a bright colour when I was doing my nails. So again, I'm skipping 2 double crochets and working into my next chain 2 space and placing 3 treble crochets into there. Skip my 2 doubles and place 3 treble crochets into my next chain 2 space. 1, 2 and 3. So I've just reached my very last chain 2 space here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place another 3 treble crochets into this last chain 2. So there's 1, 2 and there's my third. And then what we want to do, just to finish off this row, if you turn your work slightly, you'll be able to see this stitch here. This is actually one of the skip chains from the very beginning of the pattern, and you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into that and place 1 last treble crochet. And that's the end of row 2. That's the first part of our row repeats. So this video is all time stamped for you, so make the most of them to flick back and forth if you need a little recap on any of these rows. To move up to row 3, our second row in the 2 row repeat, you're going to want to chain 1 and turn your work, and into this very first stitch here you're going to place a half treble crochet. So right where your chain 1 is coming out of, this chain 1 on this row is counting as a turning chain only and not a stitch. So you'll yarn over, insert your hook into that very first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Then we want to skip a stitch and into the next stitch along, which is actually the middle of your 3 trebles, we're going to place a double crochet, chain 2, and then back into that same stitch and place a second double crochet. We're going to work our way across, skipping 2 and into the third, so we're always working into that middle treble crochet from the row below, and we'll insert our hook into that middle one, place a double crochet, chain 2 and back in, place a second double crochet. Skip 2 and into the third, place my double crochet, chain 2 and back in for a second double crochet. Skip 2 and then place my double crochet, chain 2, back in and place another double crochet. We'll do this all the way across, skipping 2 and then placing a double crochet, chaining 2 and back into that same stitch and placing a second double crochet. So I'm just coming up to the end of my row now. But if you want to press pause while you make your way across, repeating that stitch pattern, and come back to me when you're ready to move up to your next row. So because mine's a small sample piece, I'm there already. So once you've placed your last double crochet, chain 2 double crochet, you should be left with 2 stitches, remembering that we're counting our chain 3 from the row below as a stitch. So we're going to skip this stitch here and work into the top of this chain 3 and place a half treble crochet into the top of that. And there your row repeats for the beautiful picot stitch. So all I'll do now is carry on repeating that. So I'm going to repeat row 2 again. So I'll start off by chaining 3, turning my work. This counts as my first stitch. Then I'm going to skip this next stitch and work my 3 trebles into my next chain 2 space. 2 and 3. Then I'll skip my 2 double crochets from the row below and work 3 more trebles into this chain 2 space, and I'll repeat that all the way across. Once I've placed my last set of 3 trebles into this chain 2 space here, what I'll do is I'll work a treble, this time in the top of the half treble crochet from the row below. So previously when we started, we had to work that final half treble crochet into the top of the chain 2. We've now got an actual stitch to place that last stitch into. So if you've any questions about this stitch and that I've not covered in this tutorial, then drop me a comment in the comment box below and I'll try my best to answer any questions that you've got. Also, one of the quickest ways to get hold of me is over on our Facebook group. I'm about there most days and it would be lovely if you could join us over there as well. Please don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell notification if you do enjoy these tutorials to keep you up to date with all my releases, and it also really supports Rocco Baby Crochet as well, so it'd be really appreciated if you could. It's a free way that you can support the channel. I hope you have lots of fun with this stitch. I really enjoy it and it always turns out beautiful no matter what pattern I put the primrose stitch in. I always think it looks beautiful. So have a great week, enjoy practicing this stitch, and I'll see you real soon. Bye!